Hey everybody, I'm here with Tris Imboden from Chicago. And we are in Holmdel, New Jersey, and I'm going to ask Tris a couple of questions on drumming. Is there a song or two that you remember from your childhood that you really went, wow?
Well, yes, there are. There's more than a few, but my folks had kind of eclectic tastes, so I was exposed to everything from a lot of big band music, you know. So Gene Krupa was a big influence, and Sing 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 and all of that, you know, live at Carnegie Hall. And then you know, Brubeck, Joe Morello, you know, I just absolutely that solo and Take Five just. And then I, of course, you know, got into rock and roll, and then Sandy Nelson, you know, with Teen Beat and all of those records, you know. And actually, after that, I just sort of segued into surf music, having grown up in Southern California, and that. So my first bands that I was in were primarily surf bands and that, and so I'd emulate those guys, you know.
Yeah. Very cool, and that makes sense. Yeah. So, how did you get so good? I've always been fascinated by what takes somebody from ground zero. You know, if we have some drummers watching now that are just getting started with drums, how did you go from ground zero to being a world-class drummer?
Oh, gee, well, thank you. Even for using that term, or with my name attached, I'm very flattered.
It's totally true.
Well, thank you, man. But I, being primarily self-taught, I studied in junior high school, learned how to read, you know. There wasn't any room in the drum section, so I played trumpet for the first year.
Interesting.
And here.
Yeah.
Todd, your ticket is over here.
Okay.
You need to she wants to head out to the thing where she has your ticket. She wants to make sure you have your ticket in your hand.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
Anyway, when there was an opening in the drum section, the band director knew how badly I wanted to play drums, and so snuck me in. And
no.
Anyway, but then I sort of rather than continue playing through high school and studying which I would have done. I was already playing in bands that were making money, you know, and playing all the dances and stuff in high school. So.
Thank you.
So I kind of went, well, gee, maybe I want to do that instead, and you know, and getting to meet the girls too. You know? So yeah,
sure, that's why we all got into it.
Yeah. So anyway, I think that I really got serious in high school, my junior and senior year, and was actually shortly thereafter turned on to a couple of books that really made a huge impact on my playing. One was Advanced Techniques for the Modern Drummer by Jim Chapin, which really freed me up independence-wise. Sure. And I had always admired so much, you know, jazz players in general, and even though I wasn't a jazz player in the least, I loved it. And so, to this day, I don't consider myself a jazz player, but I like to play at it sometimes, you know, and I've had that opportunity, you know, with a few different bands. So, but anyway, I think it's just the love of it, you know. I mean, you know yourself, man. We just you hear the call, and it's like you have no choice, you know. I knew when I was 5 years old, I've told the story so many times, that I was going to be a drummer. You know, my dad took me to a parade, and the drum section went by, and I went, oh my God, I've never been so affected, you know, in all of my 5 years by anything in my life. You know, I knew I would be involved. You know, so
Yeah. Love it. Absolutely love it. So you've played with Al Jarreau and Kenny Loggins and Chicago, obviously. And I'm wondering, there's a story that with Kenny Loggins, there was a whole bunch of auditions. That he actually auditioned, like, you know, a really large number of drummers to find you.
Well, apparently that is the truth, and I was actually the last guy to audition, and I was somewhat hesitant to do it because I was scheduled to go out with this English artist that I had done a couple of albums with, Ian Matthews, who used to be in the Fairport Convention and all.
Okay.
And Matthews Southern Comfort was his, and so I kind of reluctantly went to the auditions, I loved Kenny Loggins, but I didn't want to shudder the thought if I would get the gig, you know, like be just, you know, kind of a chump and tell Ian, hey, goodbye, you know, I know you're going on the road, you know, but so.
Welcome to the music business,
yeah.
Ian.
right. I was pretty green.
You've never done it to anybody, Ian.
I was pretty green back then. So anyway, I kept getting called back to these auditions, and it just felt so right. And that first album was the only Loggins album I didn't do. It was Harvey Mason and Gadd, you know, that had done the Celebrate Me Home album with George Hawkins, who was already is still in the bass player with Kenny, and John Clark, bless his soul, and Vince Stenham, who played in the original Loggins band, and that, but whom he sort of cherry-picked from the last Loggins and Messina tour. So anyway, they kept calling me back, and I was just getting closer and closer to when I was going to have to leave, and I was like, oh God, am I going to, what if I get it? I'd be overjoyed, but you know, I was kind of torn. So anyway, Kenny called and finally said, hey, you want to join a rock and roll band? I went, oh yeah.
He called you personally?
Yeah. So I was so flattered, and particularly because I mean I was privy to some of the guys that auditioned, and they were some of my heroes. You know?
Sure.
And so, but you know, there's a chemistry thing that happens.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
sometimes that you know, George and I just hit it off, and Kenny and I hit it off, and it just felt right. You know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Wonderful story. Cool. Okay. To wrap things up, is there any thoughts that you have for young drummers today? You know what I mean? Because you got all the hip-hop guys using all the loops and all that stuff. And, you know, are there any thoughts or any, you know, any ideas or just anything at all that you would like to share with younger drummers?
I would like to say, don't do as I did, do as I say. Meaning in the respect, get as much education about all forms of music, education in general, you know, but certainly in music, you know, like go to music school, study privately, do all those things that I actually, you know, I'm one of those flukes that kind of snuck through the cracks by not, you know, really doing all of that. And I think it's just absolutely imperative these days, especially as competitive as a business is. It's always been, but now it's really competitive. You know, there's so many incredible players, and there are seemingly fewer opportunities. You know, so I think the better prepared you are, the better off you are. You know, and that is in education.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah. Cool. All right. We got Jason Sheff over here, the awesome Jason Sheff. Walking out before the show.
I was bumming all of a sudden because I realized you're doing.
That's great.
Sorry.
No, come on.
That makes it kind of fun.
It does make
it does.
Yeah. Real life stuff. Yeah. I'm good. I'm like. It's an honor to play with you guys.
The first time you said a saying it was awesome.
No.